Our third year here at Concours de Le Mans Down Under in lovely downtown Adelaide. And we've got a fine selection of some really bad cars here. Stuff you don't get to see in the United States, but it's fairly common and fairly awful here. We've had to add a whole new class of cobbled together kangaroo karts, and you get some really bad ones. We'll take a look here in a minute. But the main thing is everyone's having a good time, everyone's having fun with their cars, and let's check it out.
Ian Wilson, 1963 Zeta, made here in South Australia, a Lightburn Zeta. Well, Lightburn started immediately after the war, and they made all sorts of things. They were the first ball bearing manufacturer in Australia. They made jacks for cars, but they were famous for their washing machines. Almost all the military had Lightburn washing machines, in a time when our weekly pay was about £10 a week, and a washing machine then was £139. That's a lot of money, isn't it? Anyway, so they started making cars. Harold Lightburn had wanted to make cars for years, and he got the design for this locally designed. Nobody lays claim to it. They didn't sell too many of these. They use a proprietary 324cc Villiers motor. They made about 320. They came up with about 30 of the last ones. They smoothed the fins out of it and made it more conventional looking, but it was too late, too little, too late. Also, the price of these cars, the Mini, by the time this was released, the Mini was already on the books and selling, and these were only £30 cheaper than a Mini. So the Mini, you got a really, well, it wasn't conventional, but a really amazing car. So the survival rate's been quite good, though. They've managed to survive being fiberglass. Chassis and that have metal, and they've all rusted out, but able to be fixed pretty easily.
Hey, I'm Greg. This is my Daihatsu Sior. It's a little Japanese hatchback normally. I bought it for $300, sold $300 worth of stuff off it, and then found $11 in it. So I made $11 profit. And then I decided, oh, it's so cheap and who cares? So I just cut the back off it. And then from there I was like, oh, now what do I do with it? And so I decided it's lightweight, it's pretty small. I'll turn it into a hill climb car. So that's sort of where it's going now. So, you know, low and wide semi-slicks and roll cage and all that sort of stuff. It is supercharged, but I hadn't tuned it properly yet, so I took the belt off before coming. I've got an aftermarket ECU and bigger injectors and stuff, and so I will do it properly, but I didn't get time before coming, unfortunately. But it's all in there, just the belt's off.
My name's Mark and I bought a 1974 Datsun 120Y with original 66,000 kilometres. I bought it off of a little old lady who stopped driving at 94, and I've kind of renamed it 50 Shades of Green because I think it's been touched up within an inch of its life over its life. So we believe that she, near the end of her driving career, was using the force to park, and if it didn't make a noise, she didn't stop. I've had it 3 years. I bought it off of her for 500 Australian dollars on the condition that I didn't resell it while she was still alive. I think she's 97 now, so she's hanging in there. She doesn't want me to sell it. And her name is Bessie. That's the name got transferred from the lady I bought it from through to me. So I don't know whether it's like boats. If you change the name, it's bad luck. Thank you for putting on the event. It's fantastic. We love it.
The 1967 Isuzu Ballet, fully imported from Land of the Rising Sun, Japan. Sold around 10,000 of these in Australia, and there's about 80 odd left. They weren't well loved. Dealership network fell over in 1970. The last 5 were sold in Tasmania in 1971 because they're a little bit over there. So yeah, and this one was in a guy's backyard for 15 years. I bought it as a second car just to hoon around. No, I bought it for parts. And then it was sort of too good, believe it or not, for parts. So I put it on the road to hoon around. Thought I'd be defected within about 6 months. 12, 13 years later, here we are at Concours Dilemmas. Machine still works. It's a beautiful thing. Drives the best out of any of my cars that I have.
That's saying something.
It does, yeah, no, it really is cool. And it is, has been upgraded. These are a 1500 by standard. So it's been upgraded with a 1600. I could say big block, but it's the same size block. Same motor as a Chevy Love for your American viewers. Yeah, no, just a really cool thing. The suspension's all been redone with random bits of rubber and hose, I think garden hose. Usually in Australia, young people use garden hose to make bongs out of, but the guy who owned this used it to make some suspension bits for the sway bars, so that was pretty good of him. My little daughter's 3, and she's often like, can we go in the brown car? Can we go in the brown car? And I'm like, listen, it is Roman red, don't you get that wrong. Officially, but through winter I haven't driven it much because it gets pretty cold and it's got no heater. But yeah, I'm really holding my breath till the police go, yeah, nah, not anymore. But you know, it's actually a pretty safe car by the old car standards. So, I mean, I don't mean like crash protection wise, I just mean like brakes and suspension and stuff like that. These have got a habit, if you're hooning around really hard, of the back wheels tucking under because they're a swing arm. And somebody's upgraded this, put a second leaf spring across it so it doesn't tuck down. So I haven't come close to a catastrophic death like I have in other ones of these that I've owned. Although for the purposes of the judging today, I didn't say any of that. It is a death trap.